For infants who have not developed object permanence, covering a blanket over the object makes them think that the object has just vanished. Even though it's right in front of their eyes, or it's right in their reach, it's as if it doesn't exist anymore. Quite fascinating. It's not until infants get to around 8 to 12 months of age that they realise that the object is still there. It's just under the blanket. They will pull the blanket off to go, there it is. That's how we know that infants have developed object permanence. Piaget argued that infants' development of object permanence is actually incomplete until around age 2. Even though infants will lift up the blanket that is covering up the object when they are around 8 to 12 months of age, they can find the object, but it's not until later that they're able to find the object in more than one location. So for example, if the object is hidden under a second blanket, the younger infant will just look for the object under the first blanket. Piaget argued that object permanence develops gradually over the sensorimotor period. By the end of the sensorimotor period, they seem to have developed mental representation. They seem to be able to form images about the world inside of their heads. Even though the child might not be able to see an object visually, it's as if they can keep an image of the object inside their heads. This is what mental representation is all about, and what allows them to have acquired object permanence. The development of mental representations suggests that infants are starting to move away from living in the here and now. Before that, it's all about what they see and not what's in their mind. They can't think about things that don't exist in front of them. How else do we know that infants, by the end of the sensorimotor period, have mental representations? Well, you can tell by the way they perform on a deferred imitation task. In this task, you teach an infant with a puppet. Okay, this puppet has a mitten on it. You can take off the mitten, shake the mitten, and then there's a bell in it. Then you can put it back. You teach an infant several sequences of actions. Then, after about 24 hours, you bring the infant back in front of the puppet to see if they'll perform the actions again. Basically, if they develop a memory for the actions, and memory is all about keeping mental representations in our mind, then they should remember the actions 24 hours later. Piaget proposed that children pass the deferred imitation task at around 18 to 24 months of age. In 1996, Barr, Dowden and Hain showed that deferred imitation emerged in infants as young as 6 months of age. By around 18 to 24 months is when children start to engage in make-believe play, or pretend play. This also suggests that children are living not just in the here and now, because they seem to want to enact things that don't exist. They want to pretend like this is a baby, even though they don't have a baby in front of them. This kind of thing also suggests that by the end of the sensorimotor stage, infants are beginning to develop mental representation. At the very beginning of the sensorimotor stage, infants explore the world with their senses and motor skills. Then, little by little, they start to be able to form representations inside of their mind. This is what happens during the sensorimotor stage.